We are back, John.
Yes, we
are. We are here at Farniente Bar and Grill for Season 2, Episode 1 of The Money in the Bank Show. Yeah, I'm really excited. We got some new digs, John.
Check it out. Courtesy of Farniente Italian Restaurant on Brand Boulevard in Glendale. I want to give a special shout out and thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Now, who I don't want to thank is Triple H.
Whoa.
And Vince McMahon.
You just want to get right into it.
Yeah, John, I've been holding this in during hiatus.
Wait. Before we get into it, can we get some props on the new digs?
Oh, come on now.
Oh, leather couches. Oh, you're right. This is great.
We have a fish tank over here that you'll see in the next episode.
But it's a great way to come back. What a beautiful set. And this is a great way to start Season 2.
You know what? I think when we take a break, I'll get a $4 draft beer from the bar.
Yeah, well,
have we been so mentioned before we start the show? No, seriously.
Yeah.
This is a great place. I'm really excited to be here. And thank you for coming back with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Now let's get into it. Okay.
Yeah.
The Royal Rumble.
Yes.
I want to know what you thought about the overall show.
Well, I gotta say, I thought the Royal Rumble exceeded my expectations up until their 2-hour, 45-minute mark. Everything else before then was phenomenal. The Bray Wyatt Daniel Bryan match was insane, and people who watch the show know I haven't been the biggest fan of the Wyatt family. I've really come around on Bray Wyatt. He does a great match, and it's the chemistry with him and Bryan, you could tell, was just fantastic.
John, I agree with you. This was the curtain jerker, and it stole the show.
Oh God, it did. Right.
Daniel Bryan and Wyatt's chemistry was out of this world, off the charts. I did not know who was going to win, and Wyatt got a clean victory.
He did straight up clean,
and you know what? He earned it because he is really developed that character.
Yep, he really has.
Really dropped in.
And of course, Daniel Bryan always gives you a great match. Always, the people love him. I don't know. We're gonna get into it a little bit later, but like, we don't understand what is going on, what WWE is thinking, because it's just so obvious.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I read an article actually yesterday that the only way the WWE is really gonna feel the displeasure of the audience is by voting with your dollar. Right? So the people keep coming in, people keep watching, people keep tuning in, even though they're messing up. Now, I guess they're right.
Well, the ratings have their argument is the ratings have not significantly gone up when Daniel Bryan has been in the main event. And that their merchandise sales are not that high with Daniel Bryan as the lead guy. They're saying they sell more with Cena, they sell more with Orton. But sometimes, I get it's a business, but sometimes you gotta go with what the public is telling you to give them, what they want, just for a little while. They cheer for Hogan just as crazily. They cheer for The Rock just as crazily. So why not do it for Daniel Bryan? It makes no sense.
And let's just be fair. It took Cena and it took Orton years to build to the point where the merchandise was an operating entity in and of itself.
Right.
Daniel Bryan has just started meeting the apex of that main event status. And I gotta tell you, I've never heard the crowd cheer for Bryan the way they do. They've never cheered the way for Cena.
No.
Ever.
Nope.
Even at his height.
Yep.
Never cheered the way for Orton. And I'm an Orton guy.
Right.
But the way Bryan has them in the palm of his hand.
Not even Punk gets this kind of response.
Not even.
And people love Punk. But, and we'll get into that. But like, people love Punk. But the crowd does not, and you almost don't see anybody not doing this in the crowd. And that's amazing because it's very reminiscent of The Rock, it's very reminiscent of Stone Cold, and Hogan. Those are the people on one hand you can name the amount of people, you can number the amount of people that match what Bryan is able to do at this point.
Now, are they doing or are they doing Fandango?
No one's doing Fandango.
All right, when we come back,
no one's doing Fandango.
We're going to take a break. Real quick, we'll be back. Maybe we'll talk about CM Punk. We have a whole list of things to get to.
Yeah.
We are excited to be back here at Farniente Bar and Grill. It's not Bar and Grill. It's just Farniente Italian Restaurant. I don't know why I said that. We'll be right back at Farniente.
What you want?
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Money in the Bank show. We are moving on to the big topic of the week, which just happened, which is probably the main impetus for us coming back to do the show today instead of waiting until next week, which we normally would. CM Punk has reportedly quit the WWE. He has taken his ball and gone home to Chicago. He's under contract till July, but he left. Andre, do you think this is a work? Do you think this is real?
Okay.
If you do, what's going to happen?
Wow. That's the biggest pipe bomb that he's ever dropped.
Without saying a word in public.
Yeah,
just
dropped the pipe bomb and left. You know, it's very difficult for me to discern here because he left once.
Yes, he did.
With the belt though.
Right.
Right? And I can see how he's been fed up. Now, if he actually is a part of a work,
Yeah.
that means that the WWE is acknowledging that their product is not good. Because the reason he's leaving is because he said the product is not good.
Right.
So if it indeed is true, the WWE is cognizant of their failures and their shortcomings in some of the storytelling as opposed to how they did it in the past.
Right.
In the past, it was artistry, and I know people may think that's silly talking about professional wrestling, but the way they built up heroes and villains was unlike any other film or TV show. It could Andre the Giant Hulk Hogan, that thing built up for years, okay? King Kong Bundy,
Yep.
Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Ric Flair Steamboat, they had the greatest juxtaposition of two people
Yeah.
going opposed to each other. Now CM Punk is kind of stuck.
Yeah.
He was wrestling against, no offense, but against the Shield and the
Shield.
Wyatts, and
Yeah.
CM Punk is the best in the world.
Well, that's the thing. And it seems to me like they're pushing Bryan and Punk out of the title picture because they want to focus on Orton and Cena and now the returning Batista.
The muscular guy.
Right. All these guys, which is just not what the public wants. It's what the kids want. So they're looking at their bottom line money-wise, but they're not looking at the product. And I think that's what's important to look at here. And you can see that Punk, if this is true, it makes all kinds of sense. I mean, there's all kinds of rumors that, like, he's been multiple concussions, that it was an issue with his storyline, that he was not going to fight anybody big at WrestleMania, and it was going to be with Kane, which is really low-level type stuff.
Yeah.
He wanted another shot at the title, and there's rumors that he was upset because he gave that interview last week talking about how when big wrestlers come back, they take the main spots at Mania over guys that have been doing it night in and night out all year. And there's legitimacy to that. But then by the same token, you know, they built the Rock and them, they built a reputation doing it night in, night out. And so people love to see them when they come back. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But I think it's kind of interesting for him to just leave. Like, you know, you're a player, man. Because Stone Cold, that's the thing, you can't quit. Stone Cold did the same thing in 2002 when he left because he didn't want a job to Lesnar. And so that was the kind of thing that, to me, it's kind of, you know, I'm a little uncomfortable with those kinds of things. I hope it's not true. I hope he comes back at Mania. I hope it's a huge thing because Batista Orton is about as boring of a main event as you're going to have at WrestleMania.
I mean, it can't be Batista Orton.
Be Batista Orton. There has to be a triple threat.
Something has to happen.
Yeah, something has to happen.
Which is why I think potentially there's two things that I want to acknowledge. Number one, CM Punk could be being more smart, or I guess participating in the thing that he's complaining about.
Yeah.
If he leaves, when he comes back,
Yeah.
he'll be in the main event spot.
Yeah.
By the same formula that all the other guys.
That's an interesting point. Yeah.
So maybe that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
While also saving his body.
Right.
Number two, I can't imagine that WWE really wants their headline to be Cena. I'm sorry, not Cena. Batista Orton.
Right.
And I was wondering, how is Cena going to factor in? If he is, hope not. I tweeted the other day, every time Cena loses, an angel gets his wings. So I just don't know how Punk is going to factor in.
Yeah.
I think he would probably come back to face The Undertaker.
Right.
That's something he's worthy of.
Well, the rumor is Daniel Bryan
Facing The Undertaker.
facing him and beating him. That's the rumor.
Oh my God.
That's the rumor. And that would be one way to kind of get him still over with the crowd, satisfy the crowd's desire, because in essence he'd be the champion of some like unheard of, like, I don't know, underground thing that Taker's never been beaten at WrestleMania. So he'd have that kind of thing to his legacy as opposed to a belt, which would be logical, which would be good. But, you know, and with Punk, like the WWE unfollowed him on Twitter. They took down his documentary on Netflix. So it's kind of a big deal.
It's a big deal, man. That was a big bomb. I mean, Bryan winning, wow, against The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Let's marinate on that and come right back. We're here at Pagnente, Italian restaurant, Money in the Bank. We're
Woo!
We are back at the Money in the Bank show. I love singing it. John?
Yeah.
I never thought.
Oh!
You didn't know? How? They have these belts. The original belt.
Right.
They are tag team champions again.
6 times. 6 times.
Again.
Tag team champions.
The New Age Outlaws.
New Age Outlaws.
I think Road Dogg was working at Target last week, and this week he's the heavyweight champion of the world.
No. To be fair, Road Dogg has been working behind the scenes of WWE for years. Badass Billy Gunn was at the Target, working the Target.
Right. He was at TNA. He was in TNA like not 7-8 months ago.
Yeah. With the girl.
Yeah.
The divas and stuff. Yeah. This was amazing.
This is one area where I feel like in WWE,
Yeah.
they got it right.
I think so too.
They were listening to the fans, and that's
Right.
who pays their bills.
Right.
And which is why I get more frustrated that they hear the fans.
Yeah, that's the thing. We want to make very clear. What we complain about, it isn't complaining to be like, kick these people out, fire these people. It is more that we want it to be better. We want the product to be better. And so when it's better, when it's great, we give it all kinds of props like the New Age Outlaws beating the Rose Brothers. By the way, the Rose Brothers was a fantastic tag. That was fun to
great.
watch.
That was great.
I am buying the Goldust t-shirt. He is one of my top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time for his whole gimmick.
Great.
It's the greatest thing ever. But like, it was great to have the New Age Outlaws come in. The public blew up for them, which to me, I talked to Dre about this. To me, I felt like it was kind of sad that the public was more happy for the New Age Outlaws, which was a relic from the 90s, to come back and get behind them than they were for any of the current tag teams in the WWE. This is something that you've been saying for months on the show, how they had to fix this division.
Yes.
And the way they fixed it was to bring back two guys who were the premier tag team of the 90s.
Yes.
Era. And they were awesome. And they could still wrestle.
They still got it.
Still awesome on the mic. My God, the Road Dogg on the mic is just...
He's one of the... You know what? The Road Dogg on the mic, he comes from the school of Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes.
Oh, yeah. He's old school. He is
definitely old school.
Yeah.
I think they could actually improve it even more. I would get rid of the face paint on the Usos. I would probably turn them a little bit edgier. I know they're more for the kids, but they're just not really getting over with me right now.
There's a reason they don't have the title. They've been being pushed 4 months.
Yeah.
And they're not getting any kind of a title shot or anything. I mean, they're not going to get any the titles because they're kind of a boring tag team.
They are boring.
And I hate to say that about Samoans, but this is the first ones I've seen that have been kind of not that excited.
Something's coming. Something's brewing with them.
Right.
It'll happen. Something's going to happen with them. I feel it.
Probably.
They have to.
They have to turn heel. I think they must turn heel.
I think they have to go heel.
Just like the Wild
Just like all of their ancestors before that.
Yeah, Rikishi, all the heritage. You're right, the ancestors, exactly.
Us darkies have to be bad guys, right? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Well, speaking of boring, I gotta say, when Triple H came out with Stephanie, like, oh, you guys didn't get what you want, trying to play the angle like we messed up the Royal Rumble on purpose.
What a joke.
Really, Triple H?
Yeah.
That's what you want us to believe?
Yeah.
You screwed up the Royal Rumble with Rey Mysterio being number 30
No
on
offense to Ray.
purpose?
No offense to Ray. But
Come on.
yeah, that was ridiculous. And him to come out and do it like that, it's a real FU to the fans, as opposed to being a heel thing. It's an FU. And there's a difference, because the fans were actually legitimately pissed. They weren't booing because they were like, they were booing the heel. They were booing because you messed up the product.
Yeah.
And there's a difference. And when you come out and make fun of them like that, it's like, screw you, man. You know what? We can just all take our balls and go home, and you'll be playing the 200-seat theaters.
That's right.
Which is very possible. I mean, it is possible.
Did you see?
There's a reason the ratings haven't gone up. There's a reason the ratings have gone down. It's because of the authority and the bull crap that they're programming.
And if you look at how the big kid, that big guy on YouTube reacted.
Oh yeah.
That's how I felt inside. People are really upset. I mean, I wasn't that upset because it's not, my life.
Right.
Like he was devastated.
No, but we love this.
Well, you love it enough to where you want it to be good. This is a part of your childhood growing up, and you want it to continue on.
And it can be so good, and I think that's what's frustrating. And it's the reason why we do these shows, is because we love the product so much, and we know it can be better.
Triple H, get your game up.
Yeah.
We'll be back after this.
All right, welcome back to the Money in the Bank show. We are moving on to talk about the other big event that happened over the last 2 weeks. The return of the animal, Dave Batista. And as a Latino, I've always loved Batista because there's not a lot of Latino wrestlers that get to that level and are that big that come through, you know. So for me, I've been a fan of his, but I'm only a fan of his when he turns heel. So to ever come back as face was an interesting thing for me. What did you think about his return?
You know, he came back as a face. The crowd was going crazy when he came back on Raw. However, during the Royal Rumble, he got booed like John Cena.
Mercilessly.
And then he got booed on Raw, and he got booed so much so that while he was talking, which I kind of like, it's like the old school, he's not quite old school,
right.
But he's the Attitude Era at the end of it.
He's got that. Yeah.
As they were booing him, he stopped and he looked at the crowd like, "Are you serious?"
They were cheering, they were booing him and chanting Daniel Bryan.
And he acknowledged it, which is what I wish Cena would do. Anyway, so he looked at the crowd. He gave that Batista, "I'm gonna go heel" look.
Yeah. That's what I thought too.
That's what I thought. So I think Batista is more inclined to be a heel. However, if he's facing Randy Orton, he won't be a heel.
Yeah.
Which something tells me Randy Orton's not going to be the champion going into WrestleMania.
Really? You think he'll lose that Elimination Chamber?
I do think he'll lose it.
Okay.
I don't know if an Elimination Chamber. I need to see who he's fighting. But he's going to lose it before WrestleMania. He's not going to hold it until then.
Well, we know Batista's an Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
And we know Cena's an Elimination Chamber.
Oh, man.
And we know Sheamus is in the Elimination Chamber. We don't know the other two participants. So there's 4. We don't know the other 2 participants.
Now, Sheamus gets the same kind of mixed reaction that Batista got. He even gets a little bit of mixed reaction that Cena gets sometimes.
Well, I think the reason that's happening is because people want Daniel Bryan to be. They will boo. Right now, I think the fans are half turning on everyone that isn't Daniel Bryan.
Right.
Because they want Daniel Bryan to be the champion.
At what position do you think that puts Daniel Bryan in the back?
Well, it's interesting because Daniel Bryan tweeted after Royal Rumble, they won't let us, they keep keeping us down. The yes movement, he's trying that hashtag. It's an interesting place to be in for him in the back. I mean, the fact that Stephanie said, you've got a myopic point of view, which in essence was her way of insulting the fans that love Daniel Bryan and not going along with what the WWE is trying to push. And it's like, screw her. This is what people want. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting the position he's in. I don't know how much of it he can push because I think he's doing the right thing, just being chill and letting the crowd speak for him. It's brilliant.
He's got to let it. He's got to let it go under the rug.
Yeah.
Because when Zack Ryder pushed
that. Yeah.
He got 1 million people, over 1 million people, to follow him on Twitter and to push it. And I think when he made it more public, they pushed him down.
Right.
Dolph Ziggler, too, was more public about it, and they've relegated him to, a jobber.
I miss the Ziggs. I miss the Ziggs.
He was the world champion.
I miss the Ziggs.
Me too.
Yeah.
Ziggles. Which,
concussion.
I thought he was from Hollywood, Florida, and then this on Raw, he was in the Battle of Cleveland with The Miz.
It's weird, right?
I
don't know. That was
anyway.
So,
Batista, I'm glad he's back. My wife loves Batista, so she's glad he's back. But I think that they've got to figure out, they've got to get specific with these characters.
Yeah, I agree.
They've got to really carve out the storylines and the paths going towards WrestleMania. This is money time for WWE.
Agreed.
You get it right, you're going to have outlandish buys for WWE Network and for your pay-per-views moving forward for the people who don't participate in the network.
Right.
You cannot mess it up now.
Right.
So Triple H has gone on record, all the wrestlers have gone on record saying it doesn't matter who's better than who, what matters or what the crowd wants.
Yeah.
They tell you.
That's what they say.
That's what they always say. So do what you say.
Right.
Show us.
Would have been interesting, because I think Batista's coming back in the skinny jeans and the Euro jacket when he came back. I wonder if they knew, laying the groundwork that he is going to turn heel. So the triple threat match could be fascinating if Punk gets thrown in there. It'll probably be Cena.
I think it's going to be Cena, Batista, at WrestleMania.
Cena, Batista, and Orton as a triple threat. I think that's possible. So you solve the problem because you make a main event that has your crowd pleaser Cena in there, and then you have
he's not the crowd pleaser.
Then you have him against the Evolution. I know, but in their minds, in the merchandise sales, and then you have him against those 2 members of Evolution, where you have the Authority, which is Triple H, was one of the leaders of Evolution, and you still have Ric Flair in the company. So God knows what could happen. They could reform the Evolution at WrestleMania. And, it could be something huge. So I don't know, but it just seems you got to do something with Batista because you're right. The crowd is like, about him right now. And booing him. That's surprising. You bring a guy back like that. And they got to keep him face because Guardians of the Galaxy. That's why they brought him back.
Yeah.
He's going to be there. I mean, he's on a 2-year contract. He's going to be there. It's not like The Rock doing 4 shows. But they got to keep him face for Guardians of the Galaxy. So it'll be interesting to see how they navigate these waters with the crowd wanting Daniel Bryan to be the star.
Well, listen, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to go down to the bar and grab a beer, $4 here at Farniente. If you come in, let them know you heard about us on the Money in the Bank show, and ask for Phil. I don't know. We'll be right back on the Money in the Bank show. We're back.
We are.
And John,
Yes.
this is one of my favorite segments of our show.
Hello.
As the request of our fans, you saw we got some tweets
We did.
that they missed the Roker Rant and the Direct to You.
But we missed that last time we did our little special.
Yes. We didn't have a little bit of the week. We haven't had any of the girls. You know, we may incorporate that. You know, we'll see.
We'll see.
But we are about to do the Roker Rant and Direct to You, where we speak directly to an entity or faction or individual in the WWE or wrestling universe. Now,
Yes.
do you have a specific thing in mind?
I do. You want me to go first?
Fire away!
Okay.
While I think.
The Roker Rant this week is to the creative team of the WWE behind the Royal Rumble. Now, not only the pay-per-view, I mean the actual Royal Rumble at the end. I want to give you major props for bringing back the people that you brought back. I mean, Kane. Bringing back Sheamus at that time was perfect timing. And El Torito, the little white ball, was brilliant. I guess you used the Indian guy. What's that? I forget his name.
Great Khali.
Khali. You used Khali. I mean, that was fine because like his power hits are so scary. I get that. I personally, I would have loved to have seen Sting or AJ Styles, which were the rumors, come back, or even maybe even Jericho, which I haven't always been the biggest fan of, come back. But I want to say what you guys did for the most part was fantastic, and the timing and the number at which they came out, all of that order was amazing. Of course, the big letdown though was having Ray come in at 30 instead of 21. That is just a horrible letdown, and nothing. And you really screw Ray over because I mean Ray has served the company for many years as a Latino outreach, you know, to the Latino fans as a wrestler. It's something to feel proud of. But so to use him and put him in that position was really, you probably see that in retrospect, a cracking thing to do. But other than that, I thought everything else was great. And Little El Torito is really the star for me, coming in and eliminating Mr. Fandango. That was just a fantastic thing. So I give major props to the great team behind the Royal Rumble's chronological order. However, Daniel Bryan put in 30 minutes. That's my rant. Drake?
My Direct to You is directly to Nate Jimon! Ric Flair. Rick, if I may call you Rick, you are the 16-time heavyweight champion of the world. And I'm really glad to see you back involved in the WWE. I have to say, when you left, that going away they sent you in, that was one of the greatest send-offs I've ever seen. And then when I saw you in TNA, you know, it's always great to watch the man do his thing, but you're just so much better than what you were doing. But TNA wasn't using you properly. They were kind of using you as a hardcore guy. You are the greatest wrestler to ever walk the face of the planet in terms of wrestling. Your wrestling exceeds anyone, maybe not Bret Hart, but as a wrestler. And you carried the WCW when they had nobody else. And then you resurrected the WWE when it was the WWF.
Right, true. Good point.
Now, the reason I bring this up, Rick, is because you are the 16-time champion, and what I hope, and I know all records are meant to be broken. John Cena is closing in on the 16 titles. He's got 13. I cannot imagine a world in which John Cena is held in the same regard as the Nature Boy Ric Flair in terms of championships. So I hope the WWE does one of two things. either they have one very long run for Cena, I'll take that, but don't have him be the guy to break Ric Flair's record. It just, I don't know about you guys out there, but to me, Ric Flair is wrestling royalty, and Cena is not.
Corchester.
Agreed. That's my plea. Thank you, Rick. I'm glad you're back. Maybe they'll do something where maybe you roll up John Cena and win a 17. I don't know. But I'm just saying that record really should mean as much as the Undertaker streak. I think you worked hard for that. You put years into that.
Yeah.
So give it the proper respect it deserves, WWE. Rick, great job. And what's going on? Carolina Panthers, San Francisco? You got to get that thing straightened out. I saw that on the Sports Center.
Hey man, he's got tax issues. He'll go wherever anybody pays.
That's right.
You know how it goes. You know it is.
Well, that is our episode of the day. I'm so glad, John, we're back here for yesterday.
Great place.
Episode 1, Season 2. We've got 2 seasons up. So make sure you come down to Glendale and find that Dave's Family Restaurant. Get a free slice of pizza.
Right.
What?
And hey, the Super Bowl, on Super Bowl Sunday, if you're watching this before Super Bowl Sunday, you come down, free food, the buffet, and $4 beers. What could you want? And a huge screen to watch the game.
Guys, one more thing. This is great. We are great. You are great.
Thank you.
We still got it. Do we?
One more show. One more show. One more show.
He's coming back. Christian's coming back. And we'll talk about that next week on the Money in the Bank Show. Peace out.
Thanks for watching, everybody.